everyone, so I know a lot of you took the PCAT just last week and you're probably trying to figure out what to do next. First off, congratulations for taking the PCAT exam. Like, you all should stop, take a moment, and pat yourself on the back. I'll wait. The day I took my PCAT for the first time, I was so nervous. After I left the exam, I got my piece of paper that pretty much gave me a breakdown of how I did, and I sat in my car and cried. I was so devastated at my score. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. I'm not going to go to pharmacy school, so let me try look into grad programs, let me do all this stuff. I was just like, nope, it's terrible. Literally, I was like, this is bad. So, eventually I, got myself together, really prayed, and I signed up to take the exam again. And like you guys know in my last video, I'm not going to go into details. I did a little bit better, but good enough to get into the school that I attend now. So pretty much a breakdown of your PCAT score. So what's on that piece of paper that they gave you after you left the exam? So when you get your sheet of paper, you're going to see all the different subjects on the exam that you just took. Those are biological processes, chemical processes, critical reading, quantitative reasoning, and then lastly your composite score. So you're going to see all of those listed, and your writing score isn't on there because they send that in the official score report after they score it, because this is just quickly after you take the exam. That one they need to go read it, look into it, all that stuff. So then when you look further down to your right, you're going to see something that says scale scored, which is SS, and then PR, which is percentile ranking. So your scale score is basically just how you did on a scale of 200 to 600. So that's basically your score. Like, based off the exam, this is how you did on a scale of 200 to 600. That's the score you got. And then the percentile ranking is basically just comparing your score to people who took the exam previously. From what I researched, it's basically from when the exam was administered to like that January, something like that. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, Google it. But anyway, it's basically comparing your score to those who've taken the exam prior to you taking the exam. And then at the bottom you have the composite score. Now the composite score is really the main part of your paper. That is really what schools look at, all they really care about, and your writing score if they want it, if they look into it. So a lot of you probably saw your paper and was just like, okay, like I'm in like good range in terms of my skill score, but your percentile ranking was just like, what? How is this even possible? Truthfully, it's okay if you feel like you did not do as well as you thought or as you wanted. What am I supposed to do now? I applied to school in like 2 months. What am I supposed to do? What's supposed to happen? Oh my gosh, Danicia, please help me. So stop worrying, stop stressing, relax. Depending on when your testing date is, there most likely is going to be another exam that you can take. Thankfully, you all did a good thing and took it early, so that way you still have a little leeway to take it again and possibly do better, hopefully do better. And the reason why I say that is because retaking the exam, you feel a bit more confident. You already know what the exam is like, you know how the timing goes, and you know what you really need to focus on based off of the scores that you have received. Like, I know when I took it, I was just like, okay, I really need to focus on this chemistry stuff because wow. But my biological processes stuff was pretty good. So if you want to take the exam again, you can focus on those areas so that way you can see where it is that you need to focus on. And you want to make sure that you're looking into, when the schools that you're applying to, their deadline for the PCAT is. When you figure that out, sign up for the next testing date so that way you can take the exam and that way your scores will be in on time. I don't want you all to freak out and to worry and to think that your life is in shambles because you did not do well on the PCAT. Absolutely not. I did terrible on my exam and I still got into pharmacy school, not because of anything of my own doing, but because of just my faith and just knowing that God was going to work everything out. So I really wanted to have this video because I want to remind you guys that God is still real, that God is still faithful, and God is still your good father. So stop worrying. You know, when you see your score, you're probably just like, well, this is going to be impossible because the standards say this and I'm all the way down here. Who cares? There were so many standards that I didn't even meet, but still was able to get into school because whatever God has for you, it is only for you. And I share that a lot because it is so true. If God has something planned for you, you best believe that is going to happen. So, truthfully, the next steps that you should take after taking your PCAT exam and you're trying to figure out what to do with your life, sit down and pray before the Lord. Ask him if, if it's time for you to apply to that school that you really want to apply to, but you're not sure about. Ask him if, taking the exam again is something that you should do, if you have the means to do it. And if you don't have the means, ask him to help you to provide those means to take the exam again. Truthfully, I know you want me to tell you a very, cut and dry answer, but the answer really lies in the Lord. Like, I don't have the plans for your life. It's God who does. So really sit before him. And sometimes it seems like, it's just like, okay, Danisi, I did that and God didn't say anything. So what now? What now? What now? Relax. Please just relax and breathe. And honestly, sometimes, God places certain desires in our heart. So if you really feel that urge to apply to that school, apply to that school. Sometimes people are always waiting, like, I need to wait for God to say yes in my head and I just need to hear it. Sometimes it's not always like that. If you have a peace in your heart that, you need to apply to that school, do it. If you feel like taking the exam again is what you really need to do and you feel like you can do a little bit better, then do it. But really, just be led by the Lord and don't worry. I really want you all to just take a deep breath, relax yourself, and just know that God is going to take care of you. So, congratulations again on taking the PCAT exam. You have really gone through a big chunk of the process, and you should feel very proud of yourself regardless of how you did. If any of you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. You can comment below, or you can email me at behismasterpiece@gmail.com. I love all your emails. You guys are amazing and you encourage me so much. So keep it coming. I love it. And as always, be his masterpiece. Bye, everyone.